Two particular questions raise themselves in relation to the skull. How did Holbein do it, and how were people meant to look at it? The earliest handbooks relating to the creation of anamorphoses date from well after Holbein's painting, but the methods they describe were probably known to him. In the simplest of these, a square grid is drawn over an image. A second grid of rectangles is then constructed, and the drawing is copied using the two grids as guides. A more sophisticated and correct method of producing an anamorphosis is to use a grid not of rectangles, but of trapezoids, to take into account the angle of viewing, and this would produce a skull like that in the painting. If we reverse the process with the aid of computer technology, we arrive at an image of a skull which must be close to Holbein's starting point. It has been suggested that Holbein might have arrived at his finished skull without the use of a grid, but by a more direct method. An identical anamorphosis could be achieved by directing a light through a drawing made on translucent paper, to cast a distorted shadow on a wall or picture surface. Whatever method Holbein used to arrive at his anamorphosis, its distortion is such that it is best viewed from the right of the painting, at a height of about a metre from the bottom of the picture. In the case of the skull, it has been suggested that it was not meant to be looked at from the side at all, but from the front, with the use of a glass cylinder, such as a drinking glass or bottle, which acts as a lens, squeezing the image in one direction. The results achieved by this method are reasonably good, but although the glass tube compresses the skull, it cannot correct the increased elongation of the skull to the left, which can only be resolved satisfactorily by viewing from the right-hand side. We also do not know if this method of viewing an anamorphosis was known about in Holbein's day. If the skull was intended to be viewed from the side, the painting might have been hung on a wall with a doorway to its right. The skull could then have surreptitiously revealed itself to someone leaving the room in which it was hung.